happy Wednesday. It is September 2020, and this 2020 year, Wang, has been amazing. Dr. James Choo's in the house. If it's first-time listeners, first-time viewers and watchers, we have a special guest. Holly Lawson's with us today. Holly, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Remember, fist away, hold on.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, and Chewy and I have been grinding through this thing, COVID thing since March, and had some awesome guests on here. And we just wanted to do a follow-up of where are we now? September 2nd. And what has it been, 6 months?
Six months now.
6 months,
yeah.
And the whole gym has changed. Because remember, we always bring this back, and Chewy does a great job of always bringing it back to Wood Gym with Patron, the podcast, and what the Wood Gym means to everybody. And it definitely has a different feel the last 6 months. I would say a really positive, empty, scarce, unemployed feel for me. Driving the same car, riding a bike once in a while, but I've never been happier. You know, and we could talk about that also of like my personal well-being with my business shifts. At 52 years of age, August 10th was my birthday, and man,
happy
what a day
birthday!
That was. Thank you. It was amazing, Ben. Yeah, it was like watching paint dry. It was that exciting. So let's open it up. Let's get going with where everything is, and I think Chewy does a great job of keeping me focused. So let's start however you want to open it up.
Well, this is an impromptu podcast, but we hadn't done this in a long time, so we wanted to kind of check in with everyone, see how the summer went.
Feeling God's plan.
Yeah,
it's feeling.
It feels good to sit down and talk again. I mean, it's we've had entire summer, right? And everybody's trying to figure out what to do with their lives, how to run their lives, their businesses, and now we're coming up into a crazy time here in Knoxville, which is kids in schools and the uncertainty with kids in schools and all the stressors with that type of uncertainty. And it's probably been a lot that's been going on politically and all this kind of stuff. But in the end, I think the message has been the same for Charlie and I and everybody else. And that's, what keeps you grounded, what keeps you able to be resilient during times of uncertainty and lots of stress. And it's that health and wellness aspect. Lots of messages that are out there during a pandemic scare when it comes to health-related issues, masks, no masks. Should we walk down this aisle or not that aisle? Does that keep you alive and safe and all this kind of stuff?
I think it all depends on the way you go.
Yeah, the circulation.
Or the store you're in.
Yeah, the store.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in the end, it's like I can't really control what Costco tells me what to do, what aisles. It's really what I always thought was missing in the actual message, and we said this a long time ago. You can reference our social distancing podcast. Let's get back to the health and wellness. That's the only thing that you can control. What are you putting in your mouth? How much exercise are you getting? How much sleep are you getting? Or do you? There's a lot of those foundations and basics that haven't changed, and they still haven't changed to me.
Well, we were talking about that, and feel free, Holly. I know it's your first time on here to jump in with your thoughts. I mean, be you and authentic, and that's why you're on here, so don't change that. Ben, by the way, the hair.
Man.
You look like Fabio. Conan the Destroyer. Jeez.
He went from Burt Reynolds
to
to Fabio.
Nothing. But, his hair, I thought my hair was long and greasy. His tops it. Look at that thing. It's awesome. It's always a pleasure to see you. Ben has a good spirit. We talk about positive energy.
Spirit, yeah.
He is... He's consistent. And it's funny that we happened to trip up on him to start doing the podcast, and he's fit in here like a perfect glove. Thank you for coming and being loyal to me. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So we go back to the health and wellness thing, and Chewy, you always talk about that. And
because it's not talked about.
Well, I mean...
that's the amazing part about this health crisis is that we're not even talking about... We're talking about all this... mass stuff and all this other things.
Or how to be scared and hold up. I've increased my fruit intake.
Yeah.
I make sure I'm trying to sleep 9:30.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks have been pretty hectic, but we're going to get back into that groove. I think I have to be the rock of the house to move everybody back to, we're going to do this, we're going to get back to this. We're training more. I'm biking more than ever.
Right.
I mean, I'm semi-unemployed, so I have time to do that. I do 2 bikes a day, and
It's awesome.
and feeling great.
Yeah.
And that's what you always bring it back around is health, wellness, and I know it was Fox News and news is news, but last week, they came out 96% had underlying issues from COVID.
Deaths,
okay.
yeah.
Dr. Steve Smith was saying that 5-6 months ago.
Yeah. Either 2 to 3 comorbid conditions.
They're starting to
chronic
shoot out
health
all the
issues.
stats that Dr. James Choo has been saying for years or months on this, or years that I've known him. 600,000 people die of obesity a year, and you started giving all these and where were those?
Yeah.
Why aren't we keeping
Well, it's
up
the
with
same
stats with
people that
those?
are at risk for these respiratory illnesses
Right.
that are, they're not healthy to begin with. And then, so again, it's the foundations of health. We don't ever talk about the foundations of health. Whatever happened to our health gurus that we used to see on TV all the time? I mean, as goofy as Richard Simmons was, and remember that guy? And then all these healthy,
Jack LaLanne.
the Jack LaLanne
Body by
people,
Jake.
those were the people that were
Gilad.
on there. Yeah.
You
Remember
remember?
that? Yeah. Well, all of those gurus that were on there talking about.
They were all on ESPN from the mornings from like 5
That's
to 8.
right.
Then the
Body
news came
shaping
on
and all that.
And
Yeah.
we talked about that too. Talk about pivoting. That Brian White, one of my guys that was on the show and like a son to me, he used that word pivoting. And that's a real good word to use because we just started pivoting my oldest yesterday of training at 5 a.m. with that one book that I haven't gotten yet. 5 a.m., do more, wake up at 5 a.m. and see what happens. And the first
you
thing
talking
he
about the
says-
Jocko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Shamar, what is that?
Oh.
Well, he was an awesome guy. And he just said,
Oh, yeah.
get your workout in. And it shapes your whole day. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to wait until the afternoon. Let me pivot over to the morning
Yeah.
and just keep, challenge myself for that. Well, the hardest part is getting up and getting in. But once you get up and get in, my day was totally different than today. So I purposely got up this morning and came to work.
Yeah.
But I didn't train, and I feel totally different.
Oh man, that's the only time I can get my workout in is in the morning, and if I don't do it, it is a game changer in the trajectory of your day. I mean, it just settles you down. You have more energy. You're just calmer. I mean, you're done. So it's like I don't have to go back after a hard day's of work, or you might have a lot of stress, all of this stuff, and maybe you're not getting after it at 5:30 or whenever. And
Well, you have time. Like we started the one series, that I approached Holly with and was like, I want to make a series of do more for the men, the 40s and 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Well, if you got to work out in the morning, weights or whatever at 5 a.m.,
yeah.
and you go off to work and you're still trying to stay healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So, instead of having your cocktails at 6 to 8,
Yeah.
how about getting a power walk in for an hour?
Yeah.
And then resting and like you said, studying Jesus or whatever anybody wants to do. And you've had a full day, but you still have time to make up and get a second workout in of doing more.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, definitely that afternoon time for the family and kids. For me, I'm not socially distancing myself away from my children and my family. And I'm not isolating myself during that time. I'm engaging a full, healthy social life and family life and during that time. And that's we're not talking about that either. That's a key portion to the health of everybody is the getting back to your family, getting close with them, hugging on them, loving on them.
Just socializing.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that's part of it too. I mean,
Yeah.
to be human is to be with people.
Well, I think there's been some blessings with the COVID, of your own self and where you are, who am I, what am I type of deal. But, it is strange now that they brought sports back and nobody's in the stands. The tennis U.S. Open's going
goofy.
on. Nobody's in the stands. And it's just hard for me to watch anything.
Oh.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's just right off this
But
year.
that's okay.
Yeah.
The Tour de France could bike 100 bikers right next to each other. But when they get off,
Yeah.
they have to put a mask on and stand 6 feet away
Yeah.
from a reporter. I don't know how that makes sense.
It doesn't. None of this makes sense.
Holly, what's your let's hear more from
No, let's
Holly.
not, but we're good. No, I'll just,
Well,
I'll chirp in.
I think Even now, Holly talks about the mass shaming. Like now,
Yeah.
you're getting really eyeballed
man.
If you don't wear one.
It's on
Yeah.
the other side.
Oh yeah, you're getting it actually not only shame, but people get aggressive if you're not wearing it, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And,
I've seen some of those reports on those of
aggression. And,
yeah, physical altercations.
Well,
It's like,
yeah.
if you've got your mask on, it should be enough. If I don't want to wear a mask, I shouldn't have to. But and I don't believe they work. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're useful.
I don't. I've read a lot of the studies, and I haven't been convinced one bit.
Yeah, you sent me a couple of links.
At the utility of them as an effective measure, in one way or another. But but the point that I'm making, masks or no masks, is we said it early on, and when we talked about some of the deaths that were going on in Louisiana, and it's borne out to be true today as time has transpired. Sick people are at more risk for more sickness and mortality. And why don't we, if we just threw away all the other stuff, what is the foundations of health? We don't even talk about. None of these nerds that stand in front of us that are talking about health and wellness ever talk about putting down the donut and the cigarette and getting on a treadmill, man.
Right.
And then I'm like, but they think that the little cloth mask is what keeps you healthy.
Right.
It's just not true, man. I mean, it's in the fundamental sense of, I would save more lives if I got rid of all of the cigarettes and socially distance myself from cigarettes. I mean, period to the end. I mean, like, we know this, you know, and so why don't we talk about it under those terms? Like, I'm not saying that, I'm a firm believer that you do what you want. But if we're talking about a health-related issue, let's talk about what really makes you healthy.
Right.
And it's not a rag on your face.
Exactly.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, and also, too, it's not uniform everywhere.
No.
So, I mean, you wear it here, but then you don't have to wear it here. So
Right.
it's like, if you're going to wear it and make it a law, then
Be consistent.
be consistent across the board. And that's another thing. It's like, so I can not get it here, but then I can get it here.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes no sense. That's why I kind of feel it's more of a control issue.
Oh, for sure.
So,
But, if you want to hear more about all this stuff, you could go back and reference some of the stuff that Steve Smith expounds upon. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we try to keep it positive over here. I mean, I think, Charlie's made, I think we've all been consistent. I mean, Charlie, for the most part, as far as keeping our one foot in front of the other, trying to keep it going, in spite of all of this stuff, adapting to the changes, pivoting as we can, but the foundations are still there as far as your lifestyle and my lifestyle and everyone's lifestyle. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see where your gym has to be closed, but a church could be open. I mean, talking about a lifestyle of, I still.
Oh, some places churches are closed. I mean, we're lucky to be here in Texas.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
finally, but being a Jersey guy by roots, when they pull those gyms out,
oh yeah,
and you're taking away health.
Oh man, people's ability to prosper, or a lot of these individuals were small businesses that were running on thin margins to begin with, and then you hit this. They're done. Well, many of them are done.
Well, how good do you feel after a good training session?
Awesome.
And what do they talk?
Never
40 to 60% of anxiety and any type of mental depression is reduced with one 45-minute weight workout.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So we don't have to overdrink, over medicate, over smoke, over pill, over whatever it is.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Chaz, when you saw, you're still trying to eke out a living over here, doing well. How have you adapted to all of this stuff as far as your hours and your days and all that kind of stuff?
Like I said, it's been a blessing, with all the stuff going on in my personal life that's made it where I have the time to do those things and be healthy and be stronger with my walk than ever before. and I'm not afraid to say that. So it's like, I can't wait to get in the woods today. I can't wait to maybe come back later this afternoon and train and just, be me or whoever I bring in to do a training session with by myself. My choice. It's I almost took my life back the last 6 months.
Amazing how that has been a good thing for you, right?
I can't tell you how it's been. I mean, it's almost like I'm talking fake about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like weird.
Too good to be true.
It's like, we get it. You're on cloud 9, but it's not a cloud 9. It's just, a revelation of my next chapter in life, because the book's not finished.
Yeah. Where do you foresee it moving towards if you were to say that?
The business, or just
a little
everything?
bit of a little bit of everything.
The one thing I miss is going out to eat. I'd love cooking at home.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And, my stomach with the gluten and all that is so much better. Because, even spices, even if I'm getting a Mexican, chicken fajita dish, the spices, I still hurt after Mexican.
Yeah.
And I just, I didn't do the roll-ups. I didn't do anything like that, and I still hurt. Cooking a lot at home is strong, but it would be nice to get semi-dressed up, because I, always wear the baggy stuff and, in the gym, and dressed up and go out to eat and grab a bite and, see anybody and have a couple. I miss going to the bar and posting up and grabbing a lunch somewhere.
Yeah, just
because
on the
bars
fly,
or stools are pulled away. So that, to me, is not even worth going out.
It's not fun walking on eggshells.
No. Right. It's not normal. You just want normal.
Yeah.
It's just it's not. They've killed the joy out of
exactly
just being,
just living.
mean?
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast show on a mountain bike ride, and one of the doctors was saying, it's not going to be normal for 2 more years. And I wanted to ask Holly what she thought about this, and then I'll bring it to you. Is where do you see it by January 2021? Or are you a lot of the people that I hear about that come through this gym, it's all going to be gone November 6th?
I would be more with those people. I think it's very much political.
So do you see us easing back into normalcy, or will everybody go, bars are open, masks are off, let's go, let's shake some hands again, let's hug people? Because, the whole side forum thing to me is a little foreign. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
I love kissing and hugging everybody. Makes me feel good, and I hope I bring some good to them. So when we can't even handshake anymore, and like you said, I was checking out for a minute, and I apologize. I was going live on Instagram, so, my viewers and fans could see what we're doing here today. But you can't read anybody's face with a mask. You can't get any love. You can't get any happiness. You can't even tell somebody's bothered, and you want to go up and give a hug and tell them it's going to be better today than it was yesterday. You can't do those things.
No.
So we've taken that away. So does it stop completely, or does it, ease in? What do you think, Holly?
I don't know. I think maybe you start easing in, and then people realize that.
But didn't we do that before, and the cases went up?
Well, I mean, cases are going to go up. So people have to stand up for their rights and just get back to normal.
Yeah.
And
I think it probably depends on if you're red state, blue state, how quickly you get back to normal. So if you're blue state, it's going to take you.
Well, and I think also, too, people need to ask, like, these elected officials and some that aren't elected, because I know the health board isn't elected, is it?
No, I don't think I know.
Making all these requirements and mandates and all this, people are, I don't think that has any firmness behind it.
Merit to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I think
up.
there's going to be a vaccine push, of course. We've been talking about that forever and a day. Mm-hmm. And then I think the next political fight will be, should it all be mandated, every single human being, or, that there's going to be that question. And that's going to be drawn straight down political lines. Mm-hmm. And someone's going to say, well, you can't have your normal life without the vaccine. And, I just foresee that happening.
Yeah.
That's the next iteration. So
is it like Fauci, the new normal, which I know you didn't like that word.
No, it's stupid.
Thank you, Chewy.
Yeah.
Like, let it hang. Like, and where's he?
Yeah.
I don't see him anywhere.
He had surgery.
He gone.
And he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff is stupid. No one should be dictating how our normal should be. Nobody should be.
Well,
not that
didn't he
guy.
frown upon the mask in February, March?
Before that, yeah. And switches
right.
and this and that.
That's another thing on my notebook here on my topics. There's the rhyme to reason to it. It's not like it's not any conviction of black and white. It's let's make this up today. Or let's see if we could have them. What's that thing you guys did as a kid? Rub your belly and tap the top of your head.
Yeah.
Simon says. Simon didn't say. Let's wake up and have him do this today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Got to walk around blinking.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to do 15
blinking.
push-ups before you walk in to buy bagels and cream cheese into the store.
Yeah. But that probably would save more lives.
Yeah.
Probably would.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, who knows how long this is going to be. But in the end, I think it's just through all this, that some of these decisions are bigger than all of us. Some people will be fighting tooth and nail, which, we know some people that are doing that. But I think the foundations are the same. No matter what, if they call these, whether November 6th everything changes or not, I mean, it doesn't matter as much. It does matter because, I mean, it is really affecting our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these decisions, I won't say it doesn't matter. But no matter what, I always think, what can I effectively do during all this time is making sure my shit is together as best as I can. Mm-hmm. The foundations of health and wellness and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't see it necessarily just in a blink of an eye, boom, back to normal. I think it's going to depend on which state you're in. California can be very different from Tennessee.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, but I don't know.
I will say that I have seen more people just in the last 3 days be without the mask.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And before, like a week.
Where do you see these people?
Kroger.
Really?
Yeah. Like I saw 4 yesterday or day before, whenever it was, I went in there, that didn't have on a mask and weren't apologizing for it or trying to, give me a mask. I mean, that they were honestly doing it like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out. So
I'm
I
done.
think this more we see people start doing that, just kind of pushing back silently. You don't have to say a word. You just don't have to have on a mask. I think it'll start changing.
Well, you also see, I've been watching NFL training camp on NFL Network, and, one coach, I'm not going to name coaches' names and teams, but they'll have the mask underneath their chin.
Yeah.
Talking to the player, doesn't have any mask on, but then another coach has it all the way around. I think some of these people like wearing the mask because it's different designs and
it's like a
different words.
It's like a necklace.
It's like a fashion.
It's like one of those. My biggest thing is when I pass people on the road and they're wearing masks and gloves, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
At least
In their car.
in their car,
in their car by themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
So you talk about that. You talk about, 2 more topics, and then we could wrap it up. But what the news covers these days, because I still tune in. I think it's all at this point. My news channels definitely let me down with who they are and all that. But you still tune in to see what's going on, and nobody's covering anything else.
I know, it's crazy.
And if you pull up social media, nobody's talking about, the children, the sex trafficking, all the things that are still sitting out there that are really, really coming ahead on every social network.
Let me tell you about the. I think that's a good point, Chaz, because so there's been a big push. I think last month was Child Trafficking Month, and I think that's really this trafficking issue has been going on for a long time, decades, centuries. But I think last month was I think at least a first time dedicated month for it. The awareness of child trafficking. And during that time, I think the end of July, I contacted an organization in this area that works in the world of child trafficking. So they try to do education to inform people, professionals, what to look out for, teachers, medical, all that kind of stuff. They shelter people. So if you get referred, they can help you get counseling, put you on a different path, all that kind of stuff. And they've been doing it for a long time. One of my friends in jiu-jitsu, he works for Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. So shout out to JP and Andy, who go out there and apprehend pedophiles and all this kind of stuff. And they put me onto this nonprofit group. Talked to the executive director over there. She works, was a former prosecutor, has a network of 33 counties that they get referrals from, And so I asked her, hey, so tell me about your organization. She did. I asked her about COVID. How has this really affected you guys? And so she said, this is, I think, at the end of July, beginning of August, and she said something to the effect that normally in a year's worth of time, they'll get 19 shot referrals for children, I guess kids under 18. This was the end of July. They had 50 referrals. 50 referrals, and it was the end of July, beginning of August. So we have to talk about these effects, right? The unintended consequences of all of these measures that we are doing to talk about one disease, one virus, and what it's done to our society that we're not talking about. I can't talk. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the nation, but I know that it's more on the radar. Upwards of 800,000 kids disappear in North America a year, or something crazy like that. There's a recent sting or bust in Georgia where 39 kids were found. Recovered. We're not talking about this stuff. It's like, okay, well, we'll talk about all these, mass, no mass, election, but like real human suffering that's out there. Why aren't we talking about that a little bit more? What do you think, Holly?
I have no idea. I think it's just, it's not what the media wants to focus on. It's uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary. So I think the media has to drive the narrative, and the only thing they're worried about now is it's very politicized.
Yeah, election time
is election, and riots, peaceful that are not peaceful. That when we're sitting there watching them, it's like that's not peaceful to me when you're burning something in the background. But that's what they want to keep us focused on.
The portrait,
when you're sitting there watching it, and it says on the byline, peaceful protest, and there's a building burning in the background, men running around with guns, and it's like, I don't think that's peaceful.
I mean, one of the biggest news stories is that they found 39 kids that were being.
But they don't want to talk about story. That is huge.
I mean, Chaz, what's your thought on this stuff?
Well, you brought that to my attention years ago, and of course, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And I think people don't want to touch that. Like, as you say, Dr. James Choo says, they don't want to go down that rabbit hole. They still want to believe Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny roll. And that's straight facts, straight truth, and it's out there. And once you're aware of it, you start seeing more of it and start finding, I wouldn't say media, but news or information about it, because you're not going to find it on any of the networks. No. I mean, it's all election, all COVID. That's all.
That's all it is.
That's it. There's nothing else going on in the world.
Yeah.
Almost like, I have 3 or 4 doctors in here, and I coughed a couple times, and they were like, don't be coughing. And I was like, well, yeah, I really can't smell today. And they're like, oh my gosh, you can't say that. And I was like, so doc, we don't have head colds anymore, or sinus season anymore, or chest colds, or monos, or staph infections.
Yeah.
Everything's COVID.
Yeah.
I have a sore throat. You got COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got a booger in your nose. You got COVID. That's not what it is. And I was fine. I had a symptom of coughing, but I never had a temperature.
Right.
No chest pains. Mountain biked every day. Ate my fruits. 2 days I had body aches. What's that from? I don't know. Poor meal, lack of rest.
Yeah.
I checked my temperature. Was aware because, I'm still running a gym. I want to make sure I'm aware of that. And I came in healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody that's had anything like that through this whole wood gym.
No.
No.
Nothing.
But we just have to say, okay, if the blinders are, hey, there's this one topic, these 2 topics that we need to, 3 topics that we need to think about, and that's the only thing that we need to talk about. But like, the world keeps turning.
Yeah.
Yeah. People's lives still, and there's other things that we could be focusing on that may be more impactful, more, and
You don't
we're
hear
just not doing
anything.
it.
Trade issues. You don't hear
Anything.
overseas. This is going on here,
Yeah.
and you used to get so much more
Content.
And it's
just one thing.
It's
Yeah,
just
2
you turn on
things.
anything, and it is such propaganda, just trying to shove. Almost you have to believe, brainwashing you that this is the only thing. But
It's really working, though. I mean,
it's
look at
working for 99% of the people. But I would say in this room right here,
Yeah.
if you said this, if you turned off your TV and went about your business, and you were fortunate enough to have your job or self-employed, or were doing your thing, or fortunate enough to have so much money that you're not working.
Yeah.
Say you're a retired guy at 65 to 70. If you turned off your TV and you went about your business, whether it's training, playing tennis, bike riding, hiking, being with your partner, grabbing some food at the store.
Yeah.
And, the only foreign thing to me, food at the store, is everybody's walking around like zombies with masks. So I try to get in and out as fast as possible.
Right.
Then you go home and cook. You chop it up outside. Chopping up is a term of talking.
Yeah.
Discussing stuff, chopping it up. A-Dob, big shout out to Aaron Dobson when he was in here for 2 weeks. He was awesome. You had your cocktails. You did whatever. You unload. You watched a movie. You went to bed.
Yeah, you would know. No,
there's
no.
Nobody's shoving something down my face that I'm like, I'm not buying into this.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But
you got to fight for your normality.
You're
really
talking
gotta
about
fight for it.
you
Yes.
really dealing with so many kids that I deal with in here. A lot of them, and we talked about that, the stresses, the depression, suicides.
Oh my gosh,
all these
it's
kids
been
walk
done.
around more numb because we are taught to we are meant to be with each other in the isolation of whatever that Zoom thing is that
not
everybody
right.
does.
No.
I mean, these kids are depressed. They want to go back to school. They want interaction.
Interface with their friends.
Yeah.
Be with their friends.
I have online training. I have email training. I have phone by Patron. I have a TV, the same thing. You could do all that.
It's not the same.
It's not the same as coming in here and getting, verbally abused and mentally berated for an hour and feeling so much better when you walk out of here. I can't explain it, but hey, 30 years going.
I was going to ask you about that. Besides the kids, which sounds like they're really being affected. And,
They are.
And Holly, you've got
16-year-old
young lady that's in school. What else are you seeing with your clients overall? Some of your athletes and everything else.
They're worried. A lot of them are worried. It's funny you say that. I've got a great kid that goes to a private school, and they still haven't played. And so then you have other kids that need to play because the only way they go to college is on a scholarship, and they're good enough, and they're holding that back. And the parents now, can't pay for training because they have to put it towards college. Not everybody saves up college savings and does all that and anticipated this. And then you have, kids that are already committed, but not playing their senior year, and they want to play their senior year, and they're still pushing it back. No rhyme or reason. The private school here in Knoxville, Tennessee, last football game, only seniors could go to watch the football game.
And couldn't sit down.
And couldn't sit down. The rest can't go. So again, you're taking away community, fellowship, being with one another, feeling one another. I mean, it feels we haven't done one of these, a podcast, since June 20th.
Yeah.
And my vibe was off.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's vibe was off sitting at this table in this office. Of like, hey,
I think a word that would describe it, though, is that it's the unknown.
Yeah.
With everyone, but like with the athletes especially.
Oh, and the school rules.
It's
Are we going to
just
do?
the
Are we
unknown.
going to? Yeah.
Make a decision and let's go with it.
Yeah.
But don't keep changing it.
Oh man, mid stride it changes.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Was good yesterday is not good today, and make a decision and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I've noticed that in the wood gym of the athletes, just they're listless. They're like, I don't know.
They're dejected.
They just dejected.
Yeah. In limbo. right?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
Yes.
What about your? What do you think about some of your pros?
Well, I mean, again, it's been a blessing on one side, and on the other side, not a blessing, because, you had T. Higgins in here since Combine, so he was here the whole time to train, which was awesome. You had Harrison Smith, the safety for the Vikings, and T. Higgins, a wide receiver for the Bengals, played at Clemson, and Harrison I've had since 8th grade.
Yeah.
I haven't had Harrison in 5 months back-to-back since high school because Notre Dame, and now in his, I think, 9th year in the league.
Was he here for 5 months?
He was here for 5 months.
Holy cow.
Yeah. March, April, May, June, July.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And-
crazy.
And that was great.
Yeah.
So, and those guys, especially Harrison, he took this as a blessing also.
Well,
the guy
that's Harrison switched on.
That's
yeah.
a switch anyway, but he was he was awesome in here to everybody. He was one of the safe ones, to be honest, Harrison. Shout out to you, because I know you're my number one fan, number one listener. I appreciate that. is he showed everybody positivity and normal and safe, because he was such cool as a cat here.
Oh, man.
As well as T. Higgins.
He blends into the wood. Like if you if you weren't looking, you would think that that's just a mannequin in the corner
Right.
with a Patron shirt on. It's
just doing
actually
his
hair.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. So you had those pros that were in here because they were in here already before COVID hit. I have lost a lot of the guys that I miss seeing, from CJ Procise with Seattle, and Cam Irving now with
travel.
the Cowboys, and Josh Dobbs with the Jags, and Josh Malone with the Jets. You miss those guys. They can't come in right now.
Oh man.
So they didn't make it in this summer to train.
I bet you it affects the season. I mean, not being able to train. And all
Well,
that kind of,
yes, it affects the season,
Yeah.
and it affects people's shape.
Yeah.
Not everybody's Harrison Smith. More
No.
people need Patron for accountability and check it off, and
Yeah.
I need to be with you, and I've had some of the best athletes in the world saying, I'm not going to do it without you.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I'm especially talented, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it without you.
What about some of your retired pros?
Oh, the retired pros, you're talking about like Chad Pennington.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough, again, in COVID-19, that's a blessing. I got to start training his son this year, the same year that I trained Chad, and when he was at high school.
That's crazy.
25 years ago as a junior.
Wow.
Sophomore, junior, I started training his son, Cole Pennington, on...
How does that make you feel old?
It makes me feel...
That's crazy.
It doesn't... The age doesn't go into it as because I knew I would be here in this spot years ago.
Yeah.
Years, because I
Yeah.
studied with the Louis and Radimirs that were the same way. It's it's kind of cool of
You're there where you're in their shoes right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm on this great. I wouldn't even say high, but working with Cole Pennington virtual 3 days a week. I mean, that's amazing.
That's
and
crazy.
then he calls me yesterday out of nowhere, and this is impromptu. He got his first offer,
Oh, nice.
and he was like, "Hey, coach," calls me coach. He's like, "I just want to call you. I got my first offer," and we put the work in from
Nice.
March on. He got his first offer. And Dr. James Choo went to school with Chad Pennington
Yeah.
in high schools, and that's how I got to meet Chewy. We call him, but Dr. James Choo, and they're long time buddies. I took that whole group on spring break. I was their chaperone then.
Yeah. With Freddie.
With Freddie, with a group of guys. I know.
Shout out to Freddie.
Shout out to all the parents that trusted me that much.
Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Your mistake.
Thank you. Where do you think his first football scholarship offer? Marshall.
Oh, my God.
And that's where his
cool.
dad played. His old man played at Marshall. And I thought that's
That's
worth $1
crazy.
million hearing those things. And you're going to make an impact in these people's lives for the rest of your life.
Dang, that's an amazing story because hopefully Chad will be on the podcast soon. But to talk about that relationship, that's the start of it all. But it's still going on in spite of COVID. It's still going on through the next generation. I think that's pretty damn awesome.
So that probably would have never happened. So you look at the blessings that you
Yeah.
have. T. Higgins here longer, which I love him just as much as Harrison. Just
Yeah.
two different cats on two different levels of where they're going.
Yeah.
One's starting, one's riding it on.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody like a Cole Pennington.
Gosh.
I mean, so you'd adapt and adjust. We had some great months, and we didn't have some great months. But
You're still doing it.
I didn't feel I don't feel the difference because of my lifestyle is so locked in. Again, okay, the things you miss is a better beach trip.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
So,
those
that's
type of things.
Life could be worse.
Went
right?
to the beach in June for the first time, and it, you know, had its up and downs, and
Yeah.
it wasn't the same. But life could be worse. I went to the beach. Oh, I was supposed to be mad at that.
One thing I will say is that we're all very fortunate. You know, my heart goes out to the folks that are stuck, that can't open up their doors.
Well,
Can't
you
do.
shared some stories. I know you can't, but you shared some thoughts that were amazing. Just thinking about those people, and you know, I
struggling.
stopped and prayed for those people.
Yeah.
There's such a blessing for all of us of what we're doing here in this room. That
Yeah.
there's so many people that
Are struggling.
we're
struggling.
like really struggling.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're not talking about, well, he didn't make his 40.
Yeah,
We're
and
talking about life struggle.
And I had
You
a
know,
crappy
yeah.
beach trip.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Man, I want you to take me out back and hit me with Todd Helton's bat. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
no, but there's some real blessings, and my really thoughts go out to those who are in the middle of the turmoil of just trying to get their lives, but they can't because, you know, maybe they can't open up their businesses, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't. I really, that's who I think and pray about the most, you know.
And those type of people, and we bring it back to, I know everybody's got to wrap up, but the mental wellness, if they could just do anything, you know, like go out for a walk, clear your head, you know. If you haven't found Jesus, he's right there waiting on you, and he will guide you. You know, whatever storm you're going through it for a reason. And we talk about mental wellness, and I just want to hit on this one more time because this is a topic that I have to address every day. Can you tell the audience what real obesity looks like? You don't have to look like Fat Albert.
Oh no.
To be obese. And when people are like, I'm really fit and healthy, and you have a man that's standing at 33% body fat, and he's, let's say, over 50, and he lifts some weights, and he thinks he's healthy, and you're not. So if people could just concentrate on what obesity looks like, and having that choice not to be obese.
That's hard, you know, and I think we have to readjust our eyes. We talked about that before. We have to readjust our eyes to say, okay, we're way on to the right side of what should be normal. We've shifted our normal to a healthy abnormal. So the mean is overweight and unhealthy. So what we need to do is shift the mean, and it's going to, I don't know how are you going to do it. It's just individual choices. You have to shift it all the way back, and people will be shocked at how much they would have to lose and really work at to get to what is quote unquote really normal.
So you think they're feeding their own self a lie, which is an excuse? I mean, if you want to get down to it like a Jocko Willink, I'd say that would be one of the things that's happening.
As far as some people, I think some people, yeah.
Well, because we addressed this before, Holly, is when these people, I'm not that bad compared to that, the status quo. And I know the Wood Gym's not the status quo. We came up with this podcast of type A personalities, go-getters. We get that.
Yeah.
You know, I was in here at 4:43 this morning. We're rolling. We're getting it going. I get it all. The status quo of like, I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
I function well, but then you take a measurement and you look at 33. Well, that's not good for all the underlying issues: heart disease, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes. You can go
viruses,
on and on.
You know, any virus.
Well, if you're unhealthy, if obese is one, you're probably going to catch things, keep it longer, and maybe get really sick from it.
Yeah,
or die. Or
die.
I mean, you could just drop dead from a heart attack. I mean, I had that unfortunate case in one of our staff's family members, young guy in his early 50s, drop at work. I mean, boom. And we think that if you just got a little bit around your waist, I mean, you should probably have none around your waist. You know what I mean? Or that type of stuff. I mean, just our conception of what keeps us healthy is we're way off. And we're sitting around waiting for a solution, a pill, a shot, or whatever, and we got to get up and move. And the act of moving, the act of doing, gives you a little bit of self-efficacy. I think that you've got some control in your hands of doing something, making yourself feel better, making your outlook feel better. You've got control. You know, I mean, instead of waiting passively, you know, for health to come to you through a company or whatever, a quick solution, get up and go. You know, I mean, that's you can't wait. Get up and get it. You know, and that's the thing that I think we'll circle back to it. We started it. We can end with it. That's the only thing you can control is, okay, that. And what's shocking, and you and I have been censored multiple times, you know, with Dr. Smith's message and whatnot. Why we could go on and talk about why we've been censored. I don't think it's necessary, but it's what's so dangerous about words.
I think we have another show with Dr. Smith here.
Burn the wood gym down, dude, that guy. But
helicopters flying over.
But you know, get up and go.
And that's we always go back to do more. And we talked about this just last week of the health lifestyle influencers out there. And that's what we're not trying to do. We're not trying to look like, or, you know, not everybody can look at David Goggins and go, that's why I have to run a marathon every day and, you know, tear down my biceps and, you know, sleep in blood for 3 days. And that's not healthy either. We're not talking about that.
No.
We're just getting up and moving, watching your calories, clean
whole foods.
Give yourself a shot to avoid all the diseases that are out there, because we know they're out there. We're not saying it's not out there.
Yeah.
It's what we're doing to try to prevent, to get better, that they've pulled away from us.
The most bang for your buck is to be healthy for all diseases, not just one. So why, if we're caring about, I mean, not just one respiratory illness, multiple respiratory illnesses, smoking. Let's talk about the inflammatory, you know, your pro-inflammatory body if you're sitting around obese, for your heart and
your
everything,
joints,
everything. You're just like, you know, and let me say that there are some people that are that do have these overwhelming illnesses and diseases where they can't just get up and go. Okay, and the elderly and all that kind of stuff. And I you know, yes, there is important segments of the population where it's not so simple. I work with a lot of patients that have broken down bodies as a result of you know, surgeries or whatever it may be. But I'm talking about the vast majority of people that are sitting around waiting for a solution. You know, you even in your 70s, you can get up and walk. You can do stuff. I mean, there's more to do than just wait around for a solution for health. I mean, if that is what we want to propagate as a country, that we've got a cloth around your face and a shot in your ass to make your life better. Bullshit, man.
Preach. Yeah.
Bullshit. Yep. And you get up and go. So you're telling me that's more important than fruits and vegetables and, you know, fiber in your diet and
friends,
healthy fruit and your friends
community
and your community and your this and that. If you're an epidemiologist preaching that lie as far as what keeps you healthy, get off the stage. Get off. Stop talking, because you don't know one day I'm thinking about health. That's what I'll say. So, I mean, because we know what keeps you healthy, and it's been the same formula, and we've known about it for a long time. So, I mean, let's go get it.
Let's go get it. And he is exactly right. You hit on a good point right there. And I know we'll shut it down from here, but you do not turn on the TV and see any health shows anymore.
No.
There's nothing on there for people that just want to look, like, get started.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's going to walk into the wood gym. Let me find this place with no sign, off the beaten path, with me in here. Where's the health shows for everybody to stand in front of the TV and go through 20, 30 minutes of moving? You're right.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's been a blast. I feel so good. My heart and my soul, my body feels so good to just see everybody again at the table. And we haven't done this since June 20th. And shame on me for not keeping it, you know. But then, you know, we've gone through some serious storms the last 6 months, and July has been a different month. And Hey, and let me tell everybody here, Dr. James Choo has been on me too. Of like, hey, let's get this podcast. Hey, let's get this and let's get this. And I had my own, I wouldn't say stuck, but everything was coming at me 100 miles an hour in my life every day. And it's like, I can't even think about that for a minute. And then you think about it, then you feel bad, then you push it away, so I have to blame because this is a part of health and wellness to me, because once I started doing this podcast, and Dr. James Choo was my first guest 2 years ago in November, December.
Man, 2 years.
And, my girls pushed me to do a podcast of getting it done. It's been worth $1 million to me, because it's been awesome. It's had some great people on this show, and the camaraderie and meeting new people like Ben. That's one of us.
Yeah, Ben. Ben's been great.
And he's discovered Truly's at Costco.
His guilty pleasure.
All right. I love everybody here. Everybody, thank you for listening, tuning in, and watching. And God bless. And we'll have another one soon. I'm back on it.
All right, man.
Thanks guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.